you have everything? Yeah.
First of all, I would like to welcome Toby Smith, the owner of Toby's Estate Coffee Roasters. He's here in Kuwait because tomorrow is the grand opening of our third location in Sheikh. So I have just a simple question for him for you to benefit from. First question is, can you tell us about yourself and how did you find Toby Estate Coffee Roasters?
Well, I found it. It's my name. So it was founded back in 1997 in Sydney, Australia. It was a big adventure because coffee was very new then, as in the specialty world. In fact, it was just starting and developing. So it was quite a big leap. I spent some time in Brazil to educate myself and learn more about it, unsure really where I was going with it, and then eventually started, which was a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you started from a garage. Is it true?
Yeah, when I started, I was fairly young, so I didn't have much money. So I turned to my mother, who had an empty garage. So I set up my roastery with a courtyard. So I used to do a lot of training, roasting and packing and dispatch out of a courtyard garage in the middle of the city in Sydney. So it was.
And then I think you went all the way to Africa and you spent 2 years there just to understand the...
Prior to starting the business, I went to Brazil, Colombia and Guatemala, but spent most of my time in Brazil. But then thereafter traveled, learning more. Well, constantly learn. You're always learning more about coffee. So the idea was to discover more origins where coffee was grown and the processes and the ways the way they grew coffee and how I would translate that when I got home into brewed coffee.
Okay. For the audience here, I think there's a couple of people who was willing to open a coffee shop, Speciality Coffee in Kuwait. Can you talk about the obstacles you faced starting Toby's from the beginning until you reached this
Yeah, definitely.
popularity?
Yeah. In the early days, I guess the similarities when I started was Sydney, Australia had a bit of a history with some Italian migrants with espresso. Most people were drinking it at home. There wasn't the abundance of cafes as there are now, which is sort of similar to here. So I guess the obstacles were educating people, educating staff. My advice is you have to be soft and gentle with customers. You can't expect them to have the same love and desire for coffee that you have to start with, and it's important to gently introduce them to it, educate them, open them up to your world of coffee and how you love it and how passionate you are about it, and also your staff and people. In a way, it's an easy product to do that because naturally you sit around and drink and converse and talk, and of course you have the caffeine element, which creates all sorts of other inspirations. So that makes it work, but it's education, appreciation, enjoying it, and making sure it's very approachable for everyone, and not a snobbish product. Even when you say specialty, I think some people get caught up in that. Oh, it's a special world of only very high quality, and only people who really understand it and can taste notes of berry are for coffee. It's not true at all. It's for everyone, and you have to present it that way.
Okay, and starting your own business with your own name and then going all the way with giving a franchise out, do you think this is a good step for you? Do you recommend this for the people like in Kuwait? Most of the coffee shops, specialty coffee, are like Kuwaitis concept. So do you advise them to go and franchise their brand abroad?
It took me a long time before I was to do that.
Is it easy? I mean,
it has a whole new set of challenges from a business sense. I had to wait till my business was mature enough, and I was mature enough, and I was confident enough to be able to support a new model, a new business model, a new strategy, and then have the people, the personnel with me to be able to execute it. So it presents a whole lot of new challenges, but very rewarding ones as well. One, to see your brand grow and form new relationships and partnerships, as with yourself, and also because of the new markets around the globe that you reach, it expands the brand in different ways you possibly didn't know it could take. As for instance, like the food pairings and the culture you have and the way you go about it. Yeah.
Okay, what advice do you have for the people who's going to open a specialty coffee? Do you think it's too late for them to open? Do you think it's the right time? I know we started very late in the Middle East compared to Australia and in Europe, but...
Yeah, definitely. Definitely it's never too late. I guess an example of that in Australia, whenever people have been saying it's saturated there for 15 years, and it's still growing. There are still newcomers, there's still new energy. It's one of those products that the more energy you put into it, the better it is and the better it gets. So you can't take your eye off producing good coffee. So that makes it a great product and exciting all the time and a challenge. I guess in a way that Australia started up, it reminds me very much of the Middle East. And I don't know what Australians did before we had coffee shops. Life was pretty boring. Now, I think, out of all the regions we go to, Asia and America and Europe, I think this is one of the most exciting in a way because it seems like, I don't know, you guys love talking, communicating. You have a history of being great traders and small traders and market and retailers. So it seems like it's in your blood, and this new wave of not just coffee but innovation ideas, it fits very well with that because there's no better place than to sit around and share ideas and create new business and relationships than over coffee. So I think it's never too late, and I can't wait to see the Middle East or Kuwait in the next 5 years. I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to grab a hold of it, do it well. You're very lucky that you have a lot more technology and access to great quality and training in the industry as it is now than when I started. So you should take it and do well with it. Yeah.
Is it okay if you can share some of your special secrets, what makes Toby's a very successful franchise worldwide? If you can advise them, like the top three.
My top secrets.
Top secrets, yes.
I'm not very good at keeping secrets, and I think that's probably one of the good things is I've always tried to let go and empower. I know in the first year or two of my business, I tried to keep everything myself, and I was the only one who could do it. But I think empowering your staff, the people around you, and inspire people only helps grow the industry, and you're part of the industry. I think that's a great thing about coffee. You're building an industry and you're part of a great industry, and don't be afraid to share with your competitors enough, not everything. I think try and find something unique in your business that you can share. Keep it alive, new and fresh as much as you can. And yeah, just keep enjoying it as well, because it is it's a great industry. It can be a great industry for a lot of enjoyment. So they're sort of secrets, I guess, are they?
Okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Toby's, for coming here in Temkin and sharing your experience of Toby's with the audience. And have a great day.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for having me. I enjoy coming here.
Yeah.